Coming up, where did spring go?
And a pause in the demolition of the house where 4 University of Idaho students were killed.
Studios on the campus of Washington State University. This is Murrow News 8.
Good afternoon, I'm Celine Arif.
And I'm Alfonso Valdivia. Welcome to Murrow News 8.
It is so cold today. 4 days into spring, Murrow News 8 reporter Alexander Huddleston is outside. How are the roads and sidewalks looking, Alex?
Yeah, it's been pretty cold. We woke up to some snow this morning. About a finger's worth of snow. But for those of you driving, the snow is pretty much melted off the roads. I'm not going to show you a road because you know what a road looks like. For those of you walking, though, there are walkways on campus that were covered in snow, covered in ice today. These, you're not going to walk to Stevens Hall. But please be aware, walk cautiously, walk carefully, because I don't want anybody to get hurt. But yeah, that's it for me and Chloe out here in the cold. Back to you guys in the warm studio.
Thank you, Alex. According to News Nation, some of the University of Idaho murder victims' family members are concerned about demolition of the house the murders occurred in. The concern the family members have is whether the jury will be able to visit the murder scene during the upcoming trial of Brian Koberger. Earlier in the year, the homeowner of the house the victims were renting from was gifted to the University of Idaho with plans to have the house demolished. According to the university, the home location will be replaced with a memorial and garden after it comes down.
Idaho passed a revised Medicaid budget on Wednesday morning with $152 million reduction from the $4.7 billion budget that failed on Monday. The reduction is meant to represent the 13,000 people who lost eligibility for service after the end of the federal public emergency order. The bill will need to pass through both chambers, and the target deadline for the legislative session is this Friday.
On Wednesday, the budget writers of the Joint Finance and Appropriation Committee voted to approve a salary increase for Idaho judges. The bill to increase the salaries will still need a committee hearing and to pass in both chambers, but if passed, Court of Appeals judges would see a 4.5% raise, district court judges a 4.7% raise, and magistrate judges would see an 8.2% raise.
Former U of I student passes away. The passing of Idaho junior Caden Young was announced yesterday by the Dean of Students, Blaine Eccles. He was from Boise, majoring in journalism, and was a former president of fraternity Alpha Kappa Lambda. The announcement didn't say the cause of death or when he died. This is tough news for U of I, as the Dean of Blaine Eccles said, quote, "This has understandably been a difficult year for the Bandel family, with the loss of several students since the start of the academic year last August. Please make sure to take care of yourselves and others."
Some Moscow residents are concerned that their rent could be spiking up to 50% of its value as of right now. Hearst & Son LLC had just purchased 4 different mobile home communities in Moscow, and if current residents decide to sign the new lease, they could be in trouble. The residents met up with a group of attorneys on the U of I campus on Wednesday to hash out any details and any other things that the residents should be aware of under the new management. Attorney Ken Nagy told the attendees, "If you think you're being discriminated against, you probably are." The city of Pullman is spending big money for renovations to city parks by the end of 2023. Our reporter Ethan Kramer has the story.
The city of Pullman has over $1 million in upgrades for Pullman City Parks scheduled for this year.
And upgrade our facilities, and particularly our playground structures were the one that they're really focusing on that time. So
Kurt Damon is the director of parks and facilities for the city of Pullman. He told me that he had park reps come out and look at multiple parks, and they were stunned by how outdated the equipment was.
using terms of iconic, wow, I've never seen anything like this, and non-compliant in today's world.
Sunnyside Park will join Krugel Park with brand new playground equipment within the next couple of weeks, which will get rid of this old piece of junk, as Kurt Damon called it, old, ancient, and way out of date.
Kurt Damon hopes all equipment and structures for parks will be in place by the end of the calendar year 2023. Reporting in Pullman, Washington, Ethan Kramer, Murrow News 8.
The students at Lena Whitmore Elementary School in Moscow won third place at Idaho Exhibition of Ideas with a 3D printing project. 2 teams of 5 students from Lena Whitmore placed in the competition, making it the first time that the school has placed twice. The students who spent a month working on their project won $250 for their school.
4 local high school girls will be participating in a big scholarship program on Sunday. Over $7,500 in scholarships for the Pullman Distinguished Young Women's Award will be given out, and the winner on Sunday will advance to the state program, which will be held locally this summer. The event starts at 4 p.m. at the Garfield School. Good luck, ladies. Coming up next, a wildfire scare.
And a beetle outbreak and their effect on the environment. Here on Murrow News 8.
Days, months.
Hey, I'm Jim from across the street.
Years.
I'd like to give you this.
A lifetime. Can rush by without realizing what we're missing. But it doesn't have to be that way. We have a choice to take action. Visit maketheconnection.net to find out more.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it.
On Monday, there was a rollover accident on campus. The 2 students who were initially checked into the hospital were released on Monday. The driver was taken to the hospital where it was determined he had minor injuries. The other student taken was determined to be uninjured after the car only hit her backpack. The car and debris were cleared, but the Pullman PD have launched an investigation into the cause of the crash.
First-year students and seniors are currently participating in the National Student Engagement Survey. The survey is conducted every other year and helps support student success system-wide. Director of Office of Assessment for Curricular Effectiveness, Kimberly Green, says, quote, "It gives a high-level overview by looking at the biggest trends, which will be useful to people serving students in many different ways, both inside and outside of the classroom."
The WSU State of the University address is set for March 28. This year's address begins at 3:10 p.m. and will also be live-streamed for those who cannot attend in person. President Schultz's remarks will be followed by a Q&A that addresses questions submitted in advance from members of the WSU community. Today is the last day to submit questions on the Office of the President's website.
Biodiesel plans dropped in Pullman, citing public sentiment. AG Tech OS changes direction and seeks another location for their plant, clings to proposed AG campus. The project has died as AG Tech OS released it will no longer occupy the proposed site suggested by the Port of Whitman County. Commissioners agreed to buy land south of Old Wawai Road near Whispering Hills subdivision. The port's rezone application is now under review.
A recent modeling study shows that bark beetle outbreaks in forests affects wildfires. The study says that it won't necessarily cause bigger and more damaging wildfires, at least not for a while. This research could someday help fire managers decide how to dedicate resources in fighting future forest fires. The paper indicates that the beetle infestation is a result of climate change.
Whitman County got a rare early spring wildland fire that threatened structures on Colfax on Wednesday. The fire started around 4:30 near Schmuck Park on the east side of town. Flames moved up the canyon above onto the Palouse River, but no structures were damaged.
A wildland fire burns 175 acres east of Roselia this past Wednesday. It started as a controlled burn, but got out of control. 7 Whitman County Fire District volunteers were called into the blaze on LD Johnson Road around 11:30 a.m. The fire almost took on 3 homes and farm equipment. 2 fire trucks got stuck in the soft ground, which forced volunteers to fight the fires with hand tools. It was controlled, and fire officials are reminding the public to use caution when burning because the small fields dry out quickly.
Well, the roads are icy and Pullman woke up to snow.
Don't go anywhere, as Rachel will have your weather update.
Dad, they took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Well, talk about cold weather.
Yo, it's been slippery and cold. I thought it was a spring.
Yeah, I did too, but I guess spring is not quite here yet in Pullman. As we bring up some video, we're going to show you of the snow today. We just want to let you know that it was very slippery this morning. Conditions have changed since this morning, but as you can see, that's not looking too great. What do you think?
Well, you know, I'm just so glad for the snow plows. Those sidewalks are so slippery, but you know what? Let's hope to get some good weather.
Yes, me too. Fingers crossed. And speaking of, Rachel, what is this weekend's weather looking like? Will we have some more sunshine anytime soon? Please tell me yes.
Unfortunately, no. Let me tell you, it was a struggle for most to get to class and to work today. Today's forecast, we woke up to a little bit of snow, which was a little unusual, seeing as how Wednesday was about 60 degrees and somewhat warm outside. I was on the golf course and it was absolutely enjoyable. But today's forecast, we're going to be expecting a high of 41 degrees and a low of 30. Sunset and sunrise will be just around the same between today and tomorrow. The wind was definitely something that we weren't expecting. It was around 12 miles an hour, and tomorrow is going to be even around 7 to 12 depending on the hour. Let's look at tomorrow's forecast. We will be looking at around 41 degrees with a low of 27, which is going to be a little bit cold during that early morning and later night. Sunrise and sunset, like I said, will be around the same. Sunrise today was around 6:45, and sunset will be around 7 p.m. Same thing goes for tomorrow. All right, let's take a look at the state map here. So Olympia and Seattle will be around 45 degrees, low of 35. Seattle's 47, 38. And as we move eastern, it will be a little bit warmer as we will be expecting Yakima and Tri-Cities to be around 54 degrees. And Yakima is going to be a little bit chillier than that. As we move on to Spokane and the Pullman area, it's going to be around the same. But Spokane got a little bit lucky as it will be a little bit warmer in Spokane. But unfortunately here in Pullman, that's not the case for us. All right, let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. So tomorrow we're going to be expecting 39 degrees, low of 28. Sunday, unfortunately, it's going to be snowing. Monday is going to be 45 degrees, and as we move later on to next week, it's going to get a little bit warmer. Luckily, we're going to be expecting a little bit of sun peeking through those clouds, so yay on that. However, I've heard that there's a lot of events going on for students this weekend, so make sure that you're putting on that jacket. All right, Alonzo, back to you guys at the desk.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rachel. I never thought I'd say this, but I almost wish I was in Spokane today. Well, switching gears, Sweet 16 is a hot topic right now. I know there was some heartbreak about last night's game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, coming up next, I'm going to give you that recap of what happened in those games and also a reaction from our newsroom.
Well, there might be some tears. Don't go anywhere. We will show you that video after the break.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Hello and welcome back. The Sweet 16 games got pretty crazy yesterday with lots of games causing heartbreak and busted brackets. Starting off with the first game with Kansas State beating Michigan 98-93. Two games followed afterwards with UConn beating Arkansas 88-65 and Florida Atlantic beating Tennessee 62-55. But arguably the biggest and the most exciting and heartbreaking game of the night with Gonzaga upsetting UCLA 79-76. For more on the bracket heartbreak, our reporter Alexander Huddleston got some reactions from last night's game from our news team.
Damien, tell me about your March Madness.
What about it?
Your reaction or your bracket, like how's it going?
My bracket's busted. I'm very upset. Last night was heartbreaking. When you saw it was up at like 15, it was all fun. And then it just fell apart. They got out-rebounded by like 24 rebounds. They couldn't play defense in them. They couldn't score for about 11 minutes. It was sad. very sad, and I wish they would have just got blown out. That 3.
Tomorrow morning marks the end of week 1 of spring ball for the WSU Cougar football team. The Cougars will have their third practice and first padded practice of the year on Saturday. Throughout their spring season, you should look out for some new faces on the team that you might not recognize from last year. Some new names on the defensive side of the ball include Devin Richardson and Amon McCullough, both linebackers, and Jamari Colson lining up at DB. Across them will be new transfer wide receiver Josh Kelly and Isaiah Hamilton. The Cougar spring game will be in 4 weeks on April 22nd in Martin Stadium. Jared McCalvey was named Pac-12 Athlete of the Week after claimed the fastest 400-meter time in the nation. McCalvey is the second track and field athlete to take home weekly conference honors since 2018 after a personal best 50-point time in Saturday's 400-meter hurdles. His stellar time gave him the first place finish field of 19 competitors in the GCU Invitational. In other local sports news, the University of Idaho has found their new head coach from the men's basketball team. Our reporter, Asst Samuels, has more.
For the first time in years, there's excitement regarding the University of Idaho's men's basketball team. On Monday, the university officially named Alex Pribble as the new head coach of the men's basketball program. Pribble comes to Moscow with one clear expectation for his team.
As we begin this journey, I want to make one thing very clear. We are here to compete for championships at the University of Idaho. That's why we're here. The potential is here. The framework is here. The resources are here. The facility is here. We have the leadership in place. We have the community support to compete for championships.
The university took just a few weeks to find their replacement after former head coach Zach Kloss was fired due to yet another disappointing season. The Vandals finished this past year with a 10-22 record overall and just 4 Big Sky Conference wins.
It feels like my last 10 years have really prepared me for this role. It's prepared me for this experience. 10 years of building championship programs in the Northwest, and I hope to do the same thing here.
Pribble has indeed built multiple successful programs in the Northwest during his coaching career, spending 4 years as the head coach of St. Martin's University, a small Division II program located just south of Tacoma. He took over a team that finished 6-22 the previous season and completely turned things around, boasting a record of 84 wins and 40 losses in his 4 years as head coach. Pribble also spent time as the associate head coach at nearby Eastern Washington and most recently at Seattle University. Under new head coach Alex Pribble, this team will look to play a fun, fast-paced style of basketball offensively. However, after owning statistically one of the worst defenses in all of college basketball last year, it's needless to say there's some room for improvement on that end.
I think where you're going to see the biggest difference will be on the defensive end. That's really where our physicality and our intensity is going to show up. That's all about culture. That's all about identity. We're going to compete, be physical, and be passionate on both ends of the court.
Now that the hiring is official, Coach Pribble will look to bring some success to a fan base that is dying for something to cheer about. Reporting in Moscow, I'm Asst Samuels, Murrow, News 8.
The Cougs baseball will make their way to Los Angeles for a Pac-12 weekend series at USC. The Cougs entered the weekend at 14-6, including a 3-3 mark after winning 2 of the 3 games at Oregon State 2 weekends ago, before dropping 2 of the 3 games against Oregon and Pullman last weekend. The series will begin on Friday at 6:30 p.m. and continues on Saturday at 6:30 p.m., and it will finally wrap up on Sunday at 1:00 p.m.
Last week was spring break, and we're going to show you what one of our own students did over that break.
Stick with us. It includes a giraffe.
Ooh!
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Days, months,
Hey, I'm Jim from across the street.
years,
I'd like to give you this.
a lifetime. can rush by without realizing what we're missing. We lose some of the best moments, some that may never repeat, or detach from people around us. Our loved ones grow used to this pattern, but it doesn't have to be that way. We have a choice to take action. It's never too late to live a full life again. Hear how many of us Vietnam veterans have managed our mental health and reconnected with our families. Visit MakeTheConnection.net to find out more.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Spring break was last week, and Murrow News State reporter Josie Goodrich was one of the students picked to go to Nairobi, Kenya on a backpack journalism trip. While she was there, she got to take a fun visit to this place. Let's take a look.
This is Maurice, calling to a giraffe during feeding time at the Giraffe Center in Nairobi, Kenya. This center was created in 1979 by Jock and Betty Leslie Melville as they noticed the extinction of giraffes occurring.
The reason why they started this center is because of the more killing of these giraffes, the Rothschild giraffes, endangered subspecies of giraffes. So they were brought here after they lost their main habitat in Western Kenya. So the main challenge is actually habitat loss. We have had people now trying to take their lands and leaving the giraffes without their homes.
The importance of this sanctuary is to repopulate the giraffes, such as Kelly here, who has had 7 calves and 6 of which are back in the wild.
So the main important thing for giraffe centers breeding, we breed the young giraffes here until the age of between 2 and 3 years, and then we release them back into the wild to repopulate the population of the Rothschild giraffes.
The center currently has 12 giraffes living in its 120 acres, consisting of 1 alpha male that breeds 4 adult females.
Currently, we have released 29 giraffes back into the wild, and the last group left last year, December, back to Baringo National Reserve.
While the Giraffe Center's main purpose is to help breed the population, it also serves as a tourist spot for visitors to see the giraffes up close and feed them grain.
But most important is to guide the visiting groups to take them through conservation experience, to teach them about the giraffes and why they should conserve the giraffes.
Reporting from Nairobi, Kenya, I'm Josie Goodrich, Murrow, News 8.
Oh, how cool is that? Well, switching gears, the 19th annual Benefit for Bowling Tournament returns this Saturday at Zeppo's in Pullman. The event is back for the first time since the pandemic began. Registration starts at 10 a.m. and is $50 per person. Proceeds go towards the Whitman County and Humane Society and Northwest Cancer Foundation of Hope. Well, that is so cool. I love bowling. I love supporting a good cause. Yes. So that is like my perfect Saturday night, my perfect weekend. What do you guys think about Zeppo's, bowling?
Dude, I love that place, and I'm pretty sure I can beat all of you in bowling.
Oh, I like to see you try.
Listen, bro. Let me just say you'll beat me by a landslide, because any and all sports, not great at, my ball will go straight into the gutter.
Oh.
So you'll have me beat there.
I'll take up on that bet, bro. So, I mean, you want to run it up? I got you. Let's put it up, bro.
Let's go this Saturday.
All right, bro. Hey, put 100 on it. 100.
So if you guys see 2 guys just absolutely killing it in the bowling lanes this weekend, it's these 2 right here.
For 100. Remember that, for 100. No games.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for watching tonight. If you missed anything in this or any of our previous newscasts, you can always watch us on our YouTube channel.
And more news can be found at nwpb.org/MN8. And you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a good night.